the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock God Rick Mexa, and Cory Sanden.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup, man. We have a fun show for you today. Today is going to be a really cool show and very informational. We've got Captain Dave Bacon and Tiffany Bacon, rod wrapping experts. We're going to be talking all about rod building, rod components, fishing, and more. And there's some really good fishing that's been happening this week. We're going to be talking to you all about it. It's going to be a very fun day. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel. The Make It Ford Summer Sales event is on. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers now and make it your best summer yet. Amazing offers and great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series, featuring gas, hybrid, or all-electric. These are deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers. They'll be glad to hook you up.
If you're into saltwater fishing, listen to this. Saturday, November 2nd, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Hi, this is Doug Kern. We are pulling out all the stops on this one. Over 20 manufacturers reps like Shimano and Power Pro. Check out all the Shimano and Power Pro product we have, like the all-new Talica A Series reel. Backed by popular demand, the Shimano Tranks Casting Contest. Cast a Shimano Tranks 500 and a Shimano Terramar 90H rod and show your surface iron casting skill. You'll see Shimano Terramar is the perfect rod to handle tough fish. The secret is TC4 blank construction. Match your Shimano Terramar rod with the Shimano Tranks 500 reel. Shimano's X-Ship and HEG technologies in the Shimano Tranks combine to provide massive cranking power with a smooth and effortless retrieve. It's our biggest sale of the year, Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing. Unbelievable pricing on tackle, clothing, and accessories. Saturday, November 2nd.
Good morning. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and one of those cool shows today, Rick.
Yeah,
gonna learn something.
Well, Cory and I will be going through it. I'm one-handed, and
good to see you, by the way.
And Cory's here, and we're pumped to be here,
fist
man.
pumps
for sure.
and
I
hugs.
got one good one of those.
Yeah.
But you're right, man. Today's going to be a very cool show, and with having Dave and Tiffany in here. And my apologies right off the bat. Which I was corrected very politely, but not Tiffany Bacon any longer. At one point was a Tiffany Bacon, yes. Now Tiffany Vay. But you said I wasn't the first guy that's made that mistake. Bart's been giving it to you for a long time. Yes. And been giving it to you for a long time because you have been around this for a long time, clearly grown up around fishing and all of this, but also, I mean, you brought in some absolutely amazing custom rods this morning, and that's your real world now, is the custom rod world. Right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Dave and Tiffany, we're really stoked to have you guys. Thank you. Came down a long ways, came down from Santa Barbara to join us and hang out and talk fishing this morning, and we're really pumped, Dave. Thank you for making the drive down.
Oh, it was just about a 5-day ride on a good horse. No big thing.
I like it. Well, as long as it's a good horse, then we're all right. So kind of big news, Dave, obviously you've been on the show before talking about the charter fishing and things like that. And, backed by popular demand, but this is something new and exciting that we're talking about today. And obviously your background is in fishing and has been forever. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions that come along that, but today is all about custom rods, custom rod building, and Tiffany is literally at the forefront of that world. And man, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Well, I'll start off. Yeah, Tiffany has been around fishing for a very long time, since she was about fin high to an anchovy.
No choice. No choice in the matter.
No choice at all. Worked on the charter boat with me, got her own captain's license, ran the boat without me. Yeah, managed our tackle store for years, built custom rods, and got to the point where she went to the international rod building competition and won the People's Choice Award. And in the judge category, she was placed in the top 10 in the world.
Wow.
So
Incredible.
That's awesome.
She's got this. And we have been working on an e-commerce website for people that like to build or repair or refurbish rods. And we're introducing vaguerods.net. Now, we're using .net for an important reason.
Okay.
Because in fishing, we use nets.
I like
Oh,
it. I
perfect.
like it.
So
That's
it's
cool.
Vague Rods, all one word, VAGUERODS.net. And well, we expected to have it live by now, but the web hosting company has little wrinkles to iron out of their
That always
own.
is.
So it'll be open in, I don't know, a matter of days, we hope. And so we'd like people to go on to social media platforms and do a follow on us so we can keep them informed of when we will actually be open and offering everything they need to build, repair, or refurbish rods at like rock bottom prices.
That's awesome.
Below MSRP. And let Tiffany talk a little bit about the social media sites where people might follow us.
Yeah. How, where, when, how do we do all the follows, Tiffany?
Oh boy. Well, if you're on Instagram, it's Vague Rods.
Okay.
Facebook, I have a Facebook page that's vaguerods.net. TikTok, it's Vague Custom Rods, and YouTube channels Vague Rods.
Okay.
So any one of those three that they want to come on over.
I was blown away just in the few minutes that we got to talk about what you guys are going to be doing with Vague Rod. Again, website when it's live one more time will be vaguerods.net. It's a lot more e-commerce website for sure, and that's the bones of it. Is you're going to be able to buy all the parts and pieces, but it's a lot more than just that. You were talking offering complete custom rods, which they're, I mean, we'll show them. We'll pull them in front of the YouTube camera. They're works of art. I mean, absolutely amazing, both function and form. But also, you're going to do a lot more than just sell rods on the website.
Exactly. Ideally, I love to teach people how to build rods, how to fix their rods. So we have online rod building classes where they can be anywhere around the world they want to be and learn how to build a rod or fix their rod or refurbish their old rods.
That I love too. I mean, everybody's had a guide insert pop out, a guide break, a tip come loose, a grip go bad, a time to change. And, that can mean a trip to the tackle store, or if that happens to you in August, the turnaround isn't the next day, for a rod, repair, whatever it might be, and you're going to be able to teach somebody the entire process
from start to finish.
And that's the cool thing about Tiffany too. That could be as simple as black on black thread and wrapping a guide on and putting some finish and getting right back to work, all the way up to Captain Dave was telling us you build like a very special handle, a handle that's unique to you, and thread weaves, and I mean, just the list goes on and on about the ability that Tiffany has in terms of building rods, and all that's going to be live classes on their website.
We got 3 different types of classes. The beginners who aren't quite up to there, that have maybe some of them have never wrapped a rod. They do the beginner class, and by the time they're done, and they're 6-week courses, they're not this 1 or 2 day
I love this
type, where it's thrown out at you.
Yeah.
It's 6-week courses, and I take them step by step all the way. And it's also interactive. So if they have questions, they can pop on and say, okay, I don't understand this, or how do I do this? So everything's taking them step by step. I feel like classes I've been to where I've seen it's like 1 or 2 days, and it's like 8-hour longs by the time you're like, ugh.
Yeah, you can't quite soak it in. I got it. I love it. And it's certainly exciting to hear. And now walk us through the custom rod process. Why does an angler out there want to go the custom rod route? You know, there's a lot of factory rods out there these days. What is it about a custom rod that makes that either provides an advantage, or what is it about the custom build process?
Got a basic choice, and that's home built, factory built, or custom built by someone else. Tiffany can teach everyone to build their own, or repair or refurbish. We will carry store-bought rods on the website also, but it's primarily about rod building, and the importance of having the right stick with you out there for the type of fishing you're going to do today. And we all know you get out there on the water and the plan changes because whatever.
Sure.
And so one rod may not be quite everything that you need out there today. People would walk into the tackle store all the time and say, "Hey, Captain, have you got a rod that's kind of a good all-around rod that I can buy?"
Right.
And I just smile and say, "Have you ever seen a golfer go out with one club in their bag?" Well, the problem is the same, and the reason is the same.
Yeah.
Not one club for a golfer or one rod for a fisher person is going to do everything that needs to be done today. And so there is no all-around stick. Although we're going to be talking about as close as we can get to that with my signature series that Captain Tiffany builds, and that's bacon sticks.
Okay.
Bacon sticks. How
That's
about
about as close as we can get to all around, but it's still totally customizable. But that's the importance of going out there with a quality thing. See, when you're on a really, really good fish, you want to be bending a rod you have absolute faith in.
Sure.
That's the important of it right there.
And the other thing that I love so much about it is everybody isn't built the same. Tiffany's arms are shorter than yours, and mine are longer than this, and Cory stands up taller this way. And where the reel is placed on the rod is different for every person. And sure, a factory rod is good enough, but sometimes on a big fish or whatever it is, good enough isn't as good as what it could be. And you'd be amazed at the difference that repositioning a reel seat or a handle or a grip can do for somebody, or make it so much more comfortable. Or you wouldn't believe that, that's what's putting the kink in my back, because I'm a little bit hunched over because my arm is not reaching up as far as it could be, or the reel is up a little too high. And maybe run us a little bit through that, Tiffany.
Yeah, that's a massive important thing. That's one thing that I'm heavily drilling my students on, is appropriate measurements of their arms, their body, to create a rod that's built for them, not Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
Just like you said, what I have them do first step is measure from the very tip of their elbow to the palm of their hand, and that's the length of their rear grip.
Okay.
Like as you said about kinks in the back, I can't count how many people that have come up to me and said, okay, when I'm fishing and it could be a rockfish, all of a sudden I'm having pains right here. And I'm said, well, let me see your length, your measurements. Look at that. And I look at there's your problem.
Yeah, okay.
You do not have the grips and where the position of the reel seat designated to your body style, and this is designated for somebody else.
Yeah. Now let's say there's somebody out there that's got a favorite rod and they love the way that it bends, but they do exactly what you're describing, and they realize, man, this thing is too short. Is that retrofitable? Can we change the grips around on a rod that we already have? And is that something that we can learn through the website?
Let me take this one, because we all have a boneyard of old rods in our garage, right? And some of them are missing a guide or a tip, and some of them are missing much more than that.
Right. I hate to admit, I got one of those for sure. Perfect description.
Only one?
Right. I only want one boneyard.
Boneyard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Boneyard.
There's a whole lot of broken sticks in there, but there's only one yard.
That's for sure. Well, see, and that's where it helps to learn how to repair and perhaps totally refurbish. And the example you just made is exactly that. That's a case for refurbish, because you've got a trusty old blank that you really love, and it's just not quite right for you, or perhaps it's kind of worn out, the components. And that's a time when you want to refurbish it, because hey, we're getting close to winter. We're getting there.
Right.
And that's just such a good way to spend a winter. is hunkered down and taking your old boneyard, figuring out, yeah, I remember this one. This one is awesome. And then refurbishing that or repairing it so that come next season, oh, you're on it. You're at the rail and you've got the stick of your dreams because you know it, you trust it, you believe in it. And when you bend that one on a good fish, it is a rod that you have absolute faith in.
And it's yours. I mean, there is something that is so inherently cool about catching a fish on something that you made and you built and you put your time and your soul and you cussed at the machine because your trim band wasn't the right and you cut it off and you redid it and then you got it just right. And all of those things go into making that rod yours. And like when that sea bass or that halibut or that calico or whatever it is, it does hit the deck, like on the stick that you built, there's an extra level of satisfaction that goes along with it.
So important.
So
important.
What is your favorite type of composite? I mean, is it graphite? Is it? And I ask because I'm the kind of guy that likes the combination of graphite with the fiberglass tip, so it's a softer. I mean, for anything, for bait fishing, for throwing plastics around, or.
Well, in our relationship, me and my daughter Tiffany, my primary function is to wear rods out.
Yeah. Yeah. I like your thinking.
To fix that problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Is that so I can refurbish it?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So I have destroyed a lot of rods, and
Yeah.
I can answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the old school fiberglass were just tough to beat up, I should say, right?
Yeah.
They put up with a lot.
Longevity.
They weren't necessarily the most sensitive. And you know, you really had to look to get the right action on them, but they were durable. And then you go into the modern graphite and all of that, and boy, to use it is just a wonder. You know, you can cast with it so good, its action is so good, its sensitivity. You know, especially like if you're spooled up with braided line, you can be fishing 300 feet deep, and you can feel your live sardine bait so much that you want to set the hook on it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
great. But if you get carried away and you drop that rod on the deck, really bad things can happen.
And it usually doesn't happen immediately, but when you do hook your 20-pound lean cod,
exactly,
and you put a bend in it, then you know it could be a year later, it could be a week later.
So I'm a fan of composites. I'm a fan of
the combination of,
because it is right there in the middle. It'll give you the sensitivity. It'll give you the good action. They seem to be consistent, and that's really important. Also, one rod to the next, and well, they just work good, and they catch me a lot of fish.
That's the most important part.
And whatever happens, Tiffany will fix it.
Right.
and you know, Cory, you kind of loosely described it, but Tiffany, maybe you could go into a little more. A composite is a blank that, you know, when they're building the blank, it's mostly graphite down towards the butt section and becomes mostly glass at the tip. Is that fair to say, or that not necessarily the case?
That's fair to say.
Okay. Yeah, and so you get the best of both worlds. In
and it is totally customizable in the sense that one can be made exactly that way, or any combination thereof, depending on the type of fishing you're doing and the size, the diameter of the rod blank you want, and the action that you want. So where where it fades from one material into another is a variable that you can work with.
Totally. And that's what's going to be so cool about vaguerods.net is you're going to offer a tremendous amount of blanks from different manufacturers, just like Captain Dave is saying, that are built in different ways. You know, some might have a higher percentage of graphite and some a lower percent. And, you know, Cory likes a rod that is pretty sensitive, but also real durable. And Tiffany, you might be not worried about the durability at all because you're going to rebuild it if something happens. So you want something that's ultra sensitive, but all of that is going to be available and explained on your website.
Yes.
Tiffany puts a lot of thought into what a customer might need.
I can tell.
I mean, for example, Tiffany, didn't you just build a whole set of rods for a party boat way up north?
Yeah, I built a 15 rod setup for tornado fishing up in Washington.
In Washington.
Yes,
Really?
yes,
Okay.
Westport, Washington.
Westport, Washington.
Like albacore type rods or salmon rods or something that's going to
No.
cover all the way around, or what are they doing?
It's kind of mid-range. They
Okay.
did 20 to 40 pounds. You know, and it was pretty funny how he found me. He was on eBay,
Okay.
and I had a couple of rods that, you know, I was trying eBay out, seeing
Sure.
what it's all about. And I get this message with him asking me what guides are on this rod.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, they're just XBG guides, you know. And so he bought it. I sent it to him. A couple days later, he gives me a call. Can you make 15?
I love it.
I was like, yeah, I can make 15. And so I had went through the whole scenario, the length, and he goes, well, that's the problem because it's for our sports fishing boat, the Tornado. So it's a party boat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll just do standard then. And he's like, okay. And so there I did. 2 weeks later, sent him 15 rods.
Man, that's awesome.
And,
Well, so
and that's what you get, right?
Yeah, the big lesson there is the same as lessons for construction. Even you're standing there at the hardware store looking at the selection of hammers. Well, you got to think about the job you need to do
totally.
today. You know, that dictates your hammer for in construction, dictates your rod in fishing. So you really have to consider what you're doing with that rod today.
Well, I can't wait. I mean, this is going to be a really fun show. I have a tremendous amount of questions for Tiffany, components and materials and rod building machines. And then obviously, Dave, having your background with us too. Today's going to be a really fun show, a ton to cover. And Cory, a really unique angle that we don't get to talk about a bunch on Let's Talk Hookup. Everybody fishes with a rod and reel. But, you know, most of the time that starts with you just buying the rod at the tackle store and walking out the door with it. And there's so many parts and pieces that have happened before that. And Tiffany, it is going to be great. I'm really excited. We're going to have a great show today.
I'm looking forward to it too, Rick. And we haven't even talked about this Channel Islands fishing, right? I mean, it's been some incredible halibut fishing up there this year, right?
Oh, there's been very good halibut fishing in a number of different areas. And we're getting some really sizable fish too.
Yeah, it's been an incredible year, right?
And it's not just halibut. We got the white sea bass going off and on, and calico bass. I mean, we go up there to the Channel Islands.
easy.
We are
Speaking Cory's
talking.
language.
When was
Now we're
last?
talking.
When was the last time you caught a double-digit calico?
For me, ever.
Yeah, right.
We got them up there.
Wow.
I've seen caught double-digit calico around the Channel Islands.
That's incredible. And not to mention Naples and up and beyond, Trancas, and
We're not going to mention Naples because that's an MPA.
it's an MPA. Yeah, right. But all that zone up there.
Yeah.
How about Elwood? Can we mention Elwood?
Elwood is good.
All right.
Elwood-
There we go. How
it's
about
between.
Campus Point?
Campus Point, you can fish on one side but not the other.
Okay. All right. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about today.
But on that
yeah.
one side, just a little ways away from there, this year, Fish Reef Project put in a reef.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
You're kidding me.
Wait.
An
in a
artificial
reef.
reef in California?
Absolutely.
On the fishable side.
On the
On the
fishable
fishable
side.
side.
Wow.
Made with his patented sea caves. And 3 months later, there was already lots of kelp growing on it.
That's awesome.
And we did this in March. And now here in late September, every one of those 16 sea caves has like dozens of kelp plants growing off of them, and they're
Incredible.
getting up close to the surface. They're going to be doing a canopy
Sea
here
caves.
soon.
That's awesome.
Sea caves. Is that a line of artificial reef they put in?
Yeah, Fish Reef Project, fishreef.org. They have a patented design
System. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's built numerous reefs around the world. Working on some off of Baja right now, and we've got these in. And when it grows to the surface and canopies, then we're going to start the permitting process for 64 acres in that area.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, we've got a lot to talk about today, Dave. I mean, it's not just rod wrapping and hey, we've got calico mixed into. I love it. And you want to join us? 213-432-1090 is the telephone number. You can give us a call right now, or you can text us via the app. It's only done through the app. It's super easy. It's a free download, and it says text the show right there. You want to make sure you do include your name and telephone number. At the end of the show, we're going to have Tiffany flip our coin. You can see the coin right there, Tiffany, and we'll have her flip that at the end of the show. We're giving away, man, Rick, this is so cool, the stuff we
I
give
know,
away,
right?
right? $300 gift certificate to Costa.
Wow.
So one lucky caller or texter, one of you is going to get that opportunity to go on Costa and pick out your pair of shades, match your, for me, it'd be an amber, fish and the calicos and the kelp, and maybe a sun shirt to add to it.
That's what's so cool about that prize is you get $300 coming your way. So you
Right.
can either buy a super high end, the Gucciest pair they have at $300 shades and go
Yeah.
away, or you can buy a more affordable pair of sunglasses and spend the remainder on coolers and croquis
Right.
and sun shirts and all the other stuff. But yeah, you got $300 coming your way from Costa.
213-432-1090 is the telephone number, or you can text us via the app. We're going to be right back. More from David Bacon and Tiffany Vague when we return on Let's Talk Hookup app, the Mightier 1090, and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hey guys, this is Ali Husseini from Local Knowledge and BD Outdoors. I'm a lucky guy in so many ways, and one thing I'm really grateful for is my little brother, Yosef. Yosef is not only a fellow angler, but he's also an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find the ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free no-obligation evaluation online now by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. That's SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address, and you'll get a home value report immediately sent to your email. No pressure, no obligations, just answers. Yosef is the SoCal real estate go-to guy. He's helped me and so many of my fellow fishing buddies find what they're looking for in a home. He knows anglers and he understands the real estate market. Not only that, but he's also a really nice guy. How many brothers can you say that about? Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and find out where you stand in the real estate market, and then get with Yosef and find your ultimate home. Again, go to SoCalHomeEval.com and we'll see you on the water.
Here's the hot tip on the best fishing LA has to offer. 22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro. They are home to LA's finest open party fleet, including overnight on the Freedom, Catalina Freelance on the Pursuit, half-day trips on the Monte Carlo, and three-quarter-day trips on the Sea Angler. For your own private charter, we have the Outrider and Trueline available. There's always plenty of free parking and a fully stocked tackle store. 22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro. Call 310-832-8304 or on the web at 22ndstreet.com.
Whether you're fly fishing, bottom fishing, net fishing, or just sitting on the water thinking about fishing, remember, a good day on the water starts with everyone wearing a life jacket. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Saturday, November 2nd is Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Seminars by saltwater expert, great deals on tackle, top tackle reps like AFTCO, Psycho Pro Fluorocarbon, and incredible deals on AFTCO clothing. Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 2nd.
Hey everyone, James Holst here with Norsk Lithium, the official battery partner of Let's Talk Hookup. Here at Norsk Lithium, we have two goals that drive who we are and what we do. The first is to make the highest quality, longest lasting lithium batteries available with a complete lineup of batteries that include 12, 24, 36 volt, and starting batteries. Second, in addition to offering a 10-year warranty on all Norsk Lithium marine batteries, we provide amazing customer service before and after the sale. Check us out online at norsklithium.com. That's Norsk lithium.com, or call us at 831-232-9063. Or to see Norsk Lithium batteries in person, stop by the Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood or Anglers Marine in Anaheim and see why Norsk Lithium batteries should be in your boat.
No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered. Norsk Lithium.
All right. Good morning. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and having so much fun in here, Rick, and stoked you're feeling better and in the studio.
Yeah,
and
totally.
in the world headquarters here, right?
I guess I should say again,
Yeah.
I decided to do it again. So a few years ago, Tiffany, you might know this story, but our Let's Talk Hookup family probably knows. So several years ago, on our honeymoon, my wife and I did this epic trip. We went to Montana for a week, rented a truck, drove around, fished all these cool rivers in Montana, researched all these killer Airbnbs and fly fished all the areas we wanted to go. The second leg of that trip, we did a 6-day horseback trip into the Teton Wilderness and cutthroat trout fly fishing. Unbelievable. Coolest trip of my whole life. 2.5 days into the trip, on the horse coming back to camp, horse got spooked, kicked me off the back, and I broke both my arms, both of them at the same time. 50 miles back into the backcountry. Long story, 2 broken arms, bummer for sure, but all good. Healed 100%, no problems. Life is good after that. I have a much less cool story as to why I missed last week's. Wyatt and I, my son, who is a little almost 3, not quite. He's 2. We were playing at the playground, and he was on a jungle gym equipment up high. Kid is fearless, and so I was kind of underneath spotting him. And hands were up instead of head down, looking at my feet, and tripped over a piece of kids' equipment. And like the slowest, no big deal, just a little stutter, like, oh, go to your knees, kind of put your hand down to brace your fall. Broke my thumb at the joint, full surgery. I got pins in my hand. Yeah, like wild. So I own one really good story about a broken hand and one not so good one. So anyways, but yeah, that's where I have been the last week, was getting that done. Unfortunately, missed the War Heroes on Water tournament. Super bummed, but they had a great time. And, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Rod and get a little recap of the War Heroes tournament. But unfortunately, so I was scheduled to be gone last week to fish the War Heroes tournament, but instead was doctor and bandage and all that kind of good stuff. But anyways, back at it and feeling good, and yeah, all good.
I'm glad you're getting on the road to recovery.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, again, we're having a great time here this morning. Cory said it best. Boy, if you want to join, it's going to be a very busy morning having Dave and Tiffany in here. 213-432-1090. That's how you reach us on the phones. 213-432-1090. Or send us those texts, those Let's Talk Hookup texts. Only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's the only way that you can send in your text questions, and make sure that you include your contact info. Just a name and a phone number is all we need with your text, because if you win that $300 to Costa, man, we want to get it to you.
It's a really cool prize, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Tiffany, we're going to start off with a text question today, and it came from Tom, who was writing us from Sunbrook, Arizona. And I said, Tiffany, could you please discuss your opinions and the pros and cons of an acid wrapped rod? And maybe for those that aren't familiar, you could tell us what an acid wrapped rod is.
An acid wrap rod is where it starts, up on the top, and it kind of rotates down to the tip. I've got mixed emotions on that based on things I've seen people do, and the rod doesn't last them as long because there's a lot of torque going on. So I'm one that's kind of against it. Wade, who used to own, or who ran Cousins, went through the whole shebang with me on how bad it is for the blanks. And a lot of the manufacturers at that time won't warranty a blank that's been doing that because of the shifting and stuff that happens.
Very interesting. I mean, it's almost as divided as politics, right?
Yes,
like
you are not lying about that.
You either love it or you absolutely hate it, right?
On the other hand, they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like them.
So when you say it puts more wear on the rod, is it the blank or the components?
It's, in my experience with them, I can destroy them. And that is my feeling, is because not only are you bending that rod, but you are twisting the fibers as well. And that's just hard on the material of the rod. If you think about the shape of the individual pieces of material that go into that, kind of a not a diamond shape, but almost a pyramid shape, or triangle, really. It's hard on a rod to twist it as you bend it at the same time.
That probably makes more sense to me than anything I've ever been described. Like, that was a very good description.
Yeah, you said it best. People are, it's a hard line divided, and we'll for sure get emails following. Oh, it's the best. So to be fair, the proponents of people that like the acid wrap rod is that the guide train forces the line under the blank, which the line doesn't necessarily want to be. And let me say this too. I'm with you, Tiffany. I'm a standard orientation. I like my guides on top of the rod. Always have, always will. I don't feel like there's a problem with my rod twisting or torquing. I've never been pulling on a fish and thought, man, if my guides were upside down, this thing would be perfect. But to be fair, the proponents of that, the idea is the line now naturally falls underneath the blank, which is a direction it wants to go. And you could worry less about the line kind of shooting under the blanks from guide placement.
Well, the other part of this too is, if you're a fisherman that fish as, we have a word for it, you're monthly warrior,
Mhm.
I wouldn't really worry about that, the placements of the guides and the torquing and stuff on the rod. But if you're like us, where we were fishing every single day, that's when you need to worry about it. So,
Mhm.
but again, it's the person who wants the rod to be built. If they want to have acid rod wrap, have the
Yeah,
acid wrap.
And you're no stranger to it, I'm sure. You've built plenty of them. You have before, will again. If a customer knows, hey man, this is how I like my rods, and I fish them this way, and they work great for me, and he wants a vague custom rod that's done that direction, no problem.
Yeah.
That's
And,
cool.
and on a rail style rod, it doesn't affect it at all, right? I mean, that's
Not on the
Not-
rail.
no,
I mean,
not
you're not holding it down to where all of a sudden, well, I hope they're not
Yeah.
putting that part of the rod on the rail, but I mean, they shouldn't have any problem with that. If
Yeah.
they do, they need to lift the rod up.
And a rail rod is usually substantial and sturdy enough that you can do a lot of damage to that rod and it'll put up with it.
Yeah, it's true.
You see a lot of, at least down here, and I'm sure probably up your way too, there has been a real big increase in those like jigging style blanks. And so much of this big bluefin that's being caught down this way, and I'm sure some of that bluefin that's being caught up your guys' way too, is a lot of nighttime and jig fishing and speed jigging, all those. And you see a lot of those rods being wrapped with an acid wrap. You think that's more just for the sake of style than it is the sake of function, I guess? That's how I feel anyways. I don't know. Again, this is your guys' world so much more than ours, but I almost think it's more of like a style thing than not. But again, like you said, to each their own.
Exactly.
I like it. Cool. Well, Cory, why don't we jump into the phones?
Let's do it. How about Doug? Doug calling from Montebello. Good morning, Doug.
What's up,
Appreciate
Doug?
you joining us.
Yeah, on those threads at the fishing shop, what's the difference between the A, B, and A, C, and D? I think it is.
So he's referring to the rod wrapping thread, Tiffany, and was just curious what the difference is between an A, a B, a C, a D, that kind of thing. And maybe you could elaborate why one would choose a size over another.
Have you wrapped a rod before?
Yeah.
Okay. The size on the A, B, C, D, there's also E. It's all on a size difference, and then you go into brand. So basically you're looking at the size. So if you're doing a cross wrap, you could do a C or a D. If you're doing some, so each of the sizes, are used for certain things.
And would you use multiple sizes while building the same rod? Like, is there ever a time when you would use an A and a D, or do you kind of choose one and build it?
When you're weaving, I use two different sizes. I'll either do AC or the lower one and then a higher one.
Okay.
So you use two different sizes when weaving. You can use two different sizes for decorative end wraps and stuff. You just have to make sure it's really shoved close, because you're going to have a gap and there's going to be an abrasion on it. But pretty much for the sizes and the numbers, it's for the size of the
diameter of the thread.
Yeah.
Got it. You mentioned something real quickly that we haven't talked about yet, and that was weaving. And oh my God,
What she brought in is incredible. Do you
Dude.
have that online anywhere? I mean, for somebody to go look, because
I have
it's incredible.
on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's called The Process. It's a video that shows, just a quick little video of it, of how I'm weaving the skull.
The skull is incredible looking.
all of them. I was just blown away. I
Yeah.
mean, Tiffany brought in a rod that's got like a dream catcher that's, you would look at it at a glance and assume it was a fancy decal, and then you start to stare at it and you realize, like, no, this was woven with thread. Like, individual teeny pieces of thread made this design, whether it's the skull or it's the dream catcher or whatever else you're doing. It's incredible.
And it kind of depends on how you psychologically or emotionally approach your fishing. Those two weaves, the skull that's a gorgeous but just plain badass
It
weave,
really is.
and you look at it and I can go take fish with this.
And that was
But then you look at the dream catcher, And that is, you're approaching fishing with a spiritual perspective now. That kind of gorgeous art is at a different level. It's not badass. It's almost spiritual.
So that's a great one. So what does David Bacon go fishing with? Does he go fishing with the badass skull, or does he? Or is he more spiritual?
You really want to know what I fish with? Does anybody really want to know what
Oh, of course.
Captain David Bacon fishes with?
I know I do.
When you're talking calico bass and 10 pounders, yeah, I want to know.
Okay, we'll talk about this. Captain Tiffany builds my custom signature series rod.
Yeah.
It's called a Bacon Sticks.
All right.
STIX,
Yeah.
Bacon Sticks. And earlier I talked about people coming in and asking me, is there an all-around rod that you can build me?
Yeah.
And really what I've done with that is come up with the bacon stick concept, because the concept can go on any blank. So you want to catch that double-digit calico? Yeah, we got a bacon sticks for that. You want to go do that deep drop bluefin or jigging for 'em or whatever you want to do? Yeah, we got a bacon sticks for that. Because in reality, I am what I call a blood and guts fisherman. I want tough. That's what I want. Tiffany builds them beautiful. So, hey, they're out there looking fine too. But the part about them that I like is they are tough. And Tiffany builds a bacon sticks on any blank. And if somebody wants a blood and guts tough rod, it's a bacon stick.
So the componentry that you would pick for one of your bacon sticks is all lending towards that. Heavy duty, beat it up. This thing falls on the deck, drops out of your bundle, no problem. Right back to fishing. And like you said, you can build ultralight and ultra sensitive, but that's not what a bacon sticks is all about.
Bacon sticks is blood and guts fishing.
I like it, man.
I like it too.
That's
hey,
cool.
We're going to be right back. You're listening to Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 and the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Gamakatsu is not just all about hooks. There's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you'll always want more. The new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades, so they'll never rust. Check out the new lineup of shirts and hats, and of course, Gamakatsu fishing pliers and boxes are amazing. Gamakatsu, much more than just the best hooks. Get them at your local tackle shop or at gamakatsu.com.
Shimano Live Spot here.
All right, it's time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And boy, Cory, with all this talk about calico bass fishing and Captain Dave and double-digit calico bass, I got to turn it over to you. If your goal is going up and catching a big fish, a big calico bass on an MC weedless, what is the Shimano reel of choice? What are you throwing?
It's a 300 Tranks, Rick.
Okay.
65-pound Power Pro, 60. I would, if I'm going to Cedros, 80-pound leader, like nothing lighter. Up in that zone, at least a 60-pound leader. The chances of a 30, 40-pound sea bass are right around the corner next cast.
We talk about Tranks a lot. Tranks comes in two options, the standard 300 and the 300 HG, the faster gear ratio versus a slower gear ratio, a double paddle handle versus a power handle. Does Cory Sanden have a favorite?
I have levitated toward the power handle, okay?
The HG?
And the HG for sure. I'm all about the speed, man.
Okay.
Get her done.
it.
The cranking power, you can't beat it.
Well, there you go. For more information, check out your local dealer or Shimano.com.
Saturday, November 2nd is Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Come see seminars by saltwater experts, great deals on tackle from Shimano, like Terramar rods with TC4 blank construction. Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 2nd.
Let's talk candidly about long-range fishing. This is Captain Frank DePresky of the Royal Polaris and the Shogun. Nowhere on Earth will you find a fleet of long-range boats like we have in San Diego. We are fortunate to have several top-notch operations to take you to the most productive fishing grounds in the world. We all offer good food, comfortable staterooms, huge bait capacity, and top-of-the-line fish-finding electronics. So why would you choose the Royal Polaris or the Shogun for your next long-range trip? What sets us apart from the rest? It's pretty simple. The boats, the crew, and the service. service. From the moment you arrive at Fisherman's Landing, the service begins. We help you load your gear and do everything possible to get beginners or seasoned veterans ready to catch fish. When it's time to fish, the Royal Polaris and the Shogun have the edge there too, delivering the 2 best fishing platforms in the fleet. But don't take my word for it. Come fishing with us. If you want the best, it's Royal Polaris and the Shogun. For more information, call 619-226-8030 or on the web at royalpolarissportfishing.com or shogunsportfishing.com.
Lobster season is here. It's time to gear up with the best in the business. Promar, based in SoCal. Promar knows lobster and makes everything you need to catch these tasty critters. The Promar guys are hardcore lobster fishermen and have designed the most successful hoop nets and accessories on the market, including the Ambush Series hoop net line, the original hoop net designed for SoCal lobster hooping. Visit Promar on Facebook or on the web at promarahi.com.
There we go.
All right. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. And such a fun show, Rick. And if you want to join us, 213-432-1090, or you can text us via the app. And you want to make sure you give your name and telephone number when you text the show, because we're giving away a $300 gift certificate to Costa. You can go on to Costa.com and choose whatever you want. Glasses, some sun shirts, hats, whatever you want.
Totally. I know, there's just so much cool info. We had a winner of one of those prizes come through the tackle store the other day, and just, wanting to try on glasses and find the pair that fit just right. So you find the frame that was just right. Then he wrote it down and ordered himself up a brand new pair of shades, man. Pretty sweet.
And I think you guys have every combination of not only frames, but the lenses.
I don't know about every, but we got a lot.
You got a lot.
We got
Come on.
We got a lot. I'm a Spiro.
I think you're underselling it.
I'm a Spiro XL guy. That's my favorite. I like the Spiro XL frame and a gray silver mirror lens.
I'm amber all the way.
Yeah. I like it. Well, the phones have been packed up again. Like Cory said, if you want to get your shot to get through on the phone, 213-432-1090. We've got some patient callers standing by, but I wanted to read another text. And it says, hey, thanks for another really interesting show. I'm new to rod building, but I've had one custom rod for me built in previous, and I really have enjoyed the final product. Tiffany, could you talk a little bit about what customizations you can do when building a custom rod to make it fit for an individual and provide a better fishing experience? And that's from DJ in San Diego.
Well, DJ, first, the most important part is getting the measurements of the length of your arm. So you want to measure from the tip of your elbow to the palm of your hand, and that is going to be the length of your rear grip, including the butt. Another thing is you want to find out if you like fast action rods, heavy rods, slow action. That's another one, because the pull of that is going to affect your back as well.
What is that, Tiffany? What is fast action and what is slow action?
I'll do that. Fast action. I remember when we first came out with that, because we needed to cast jigs to bonita, barracuda, and bass, the B's, right? And it's a rod with a fair amount of backbone, but when you get up to the top, boy, they turn soft on you. And the value of that was you could use a smaller, lighter jig and cast it a nautical mile, or it seemed like. And so that became the fast action or super fast action. And now we've refined to the point where you can almost measure action in ounces, and put the kind of action that you want for exactly the kind of fishing or lure choice or swim bait choice or whatever you got that you want to put out there.
Yeah. So a parabolic rod is a rod that bends. It's very bendy. It bends all the way down towards the handle.
Yeah,
and
it's totally flexible from one end to the other, and it creates a long arc. So that's not a fast action.
Yeah, that's a slow action.
Right.
Well, it's not even an action at all. It's a different type of thing. It's a parabolic.
Right.
Parabolic and faster. Slow action is almost like apples and oranges. Parabolic, the entire rod bends. Action, part of the rod bends more than any other part of the rod.
But the faster a rod is, the quicker it stops bending.
No, it's the softer the tip is, and softer, I mean more pliable, more bendable, and so you can cast lighter lures with that very fast action.
Got it.
And in the beginning class, we go over it. This is a topic that can take hours to cover.
Right.
So in the beginning class, we go over the types of actions of the rods.
Got it.
Because
Cool.
everybody's
Different.
desire is completely different.
Exactly.
I mean, I love a more parabolic outfit, but I also like heavy spectra, and that doesn't go with the graphite style, that doesn't bend and that kind of thing. So yeah,
Totally. Well, and to finish out DJ's question, in terms of like custom fit, what are some of the things that DJ would custom fit his rod when he picked out a vague custom rod?
If he wants what type of guides, first we got to figure out what he's fishing for and how he's fishing for, because that's going to dictate other scenarios. Need to know how he's fishing for them. If he's live bait fishing for them, if he's popping jigs, if he's doing this or doing that, we need to find out that, and then get the measurements, figure out which blank, which would be best suit between how he's fishing for it, the type of rod he'd like. So there's many different factors to ask what he wants so that we can get the perfect rod for him.
Such great information.
And the benefit of this is you're getting these questions asked to you by people who have done this for your entire lives, and you're, what questions to ask DJ to bring out the right answers to then build him the perfect rod.
And for DJ's sake, part of the reason she's asking all these questions is to help DJ catch the fish, but also to save wear and tear on DJ's back and wrists and shoulders and all of those body parts. Because if you have a rod that is built to your measurements, and considering the kind of fish you're doing today, you've got one that you can use all day long without it being nearly as painful as if you just go buy a store-bought rod out of the rack and built for the average person and go out and use it.
I love it. That's awesome. Well said. Great job.
All right. Hey, we're going to jump into the catch report, Rick. We got Brian Woolley on hold there, and it's all about Gamakatsu hooks. And it's not just about the hooks. There's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you will always want it more. The new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades, so they will never rust. See your local dealer or check gamakatsu.com. And I can't wait to try those ceramic braids.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's a cool set of scissors. We got the man, Captain Brian Woolley at Dana War Sport Fishing Online. What's up, Woolley?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good stuff in there, man. Interesting aspect of the show. I don't think you guys have ever really had anyone with rod building on there.
Dude, I agree. I'm loving it. Yeah, we're having a really good time this morning, but equally wanting to know about that great fishing going on up at Dana Wharf.
Cool. And did you guys put your hands in the bay this week? Feel the water temperature change?
I'm not feeling a whole lot with my hands this week. I got a couple of I got a couple of new pins going through one of them. So no, I haven't done a whole lot of bay feeling lately, but thanks for rubbing it in.
Well, yeah, water got chilly, man. Low 60s. I know for the bacons, they're like, man, that's warm. But, it changes things up down here. So half-day trips this week. Did fish for some bass with some decent action on the sand bass over the hard bottom zones there through San Clemente, some of that Wheeler Reef zone, that flat hard bottom there did kick out some fish, but we're seeing more and more sheep hitting accounts this week as well. That I think coincides with the curiosity nature of those fish with all that lobster gear going in the water. That stuff's starting to kind of perk up and move around with that. So sinker rigs fished well for the sand bass and the sheephead. The guys that brought the shrimp for bait did well with the sheephead. But definitely the cooler water changed your approach. You had to be down near the bottom there with the fish to get the bites there for sure. 3/4 day, still some sand bass opportunities in some other areas of some low relief hard bottom down below San Onofre. Some good action on that stuff. Sorting through short fish to find the legals. Guys, we're doing well on the artificial lures this week. We're fishing. We saw lots of guys fishing the slug baits this week. Cory down near the bottom, just kind of rolling that along the bottom. Smaller presentations, things that look like anchovies. We're getting the bites for us on those sand bass. And also we did start to mix in a little bit of rockfish, kind of out of necessity with things slowing down a little bit on the beach. So we've been out there in that rockfish zone. So we're telling guys, bring a few sinkers, 8 to 10 ounce sinkers with you. There is a possibility that we will fish both of that stuff inshore and some of that rockfish here as just kind of out of necessity with that cooler water. So the Fury, he was over at Clemente in the majority of his week, fishing some rockfish, whitefish, a little bit of bass, some bonito action. He did have 1-2 day trip middle of the week where they got outside there to the Outer Banks and had some of that bluefin opportunity as well. So just kind of like a transitional week for sure. You could feel it in the weather, you could feel it in the water. We are looking forward to the first here. We'll be able to get out into that deeper water.
Yeah.
We have a limited load trip that I'll be running on the Sun Fun on the 2nd. That's Wednesday. So limited to 18 guys, $150 a pop. We're going to get out to the 14 and see if we can find some of that stuff out there a little bit deeper. So that'll be a fun trip. We'll see how that shakes out for us this next week. But yeah, just come prepared. Call the office for tackle info. We'll try and keep our Instagram page up and relevant as to what to expect on some of these trips here as we get out into that deeper water as well. But that was kind of it. You could totally feel the transitional nature of the week across the board, both in what we were catching, our approaches, and with the weather. It's changing here. So give the landing a call. Our number 949-496-5794. Of course, you can link us there through the Let's Talk Hookup page, danawharf.com. And I will throw this out there as well. With this rockfish stuff changing, the Sport Fishing Association in California, or SAC, has a whole list of that 50-fathom waypoint line on their website. I strongly recommend, if you're going to be targeting rockfish this week, to go onto their website, get their set of waypoints that the state has adopted for their 50-fathom line, and get those in your plotter so you know where you're fishing this week. Because it's not only lobster season, but those guys are going to be out and active, making sure people are fishing where they're supposed to be fishing with this opener.
That is such good advice, Willie, because it's not just a straight line, and it's not just a single fathom line either. It is a set of points, put forth, by DFW. So yeah, a really, really good call, and important to keep yourself safe.
And it does sound like a pain in the rear, really, but should have gratitude the fact that we could do it too, Brian, right? I mean, it's kind of it's a pain, but it's something we could deal with.
Absolutely. Just put them in your plotter. And guys might be surprised. There's stuff that's under 300 feet that's, outside their waypoint line. So it's not just a 300-foot line. There's opportunity in all depths. You just have to know where you are on your plotter. So
well said.
Definitely load that up so you're good to go.
Willie,
cool, thanks for that.
Great job as always, brother. Thanks for putting it forward. Really excited to hear about what you guys do on that big trip, only because I remember last year when that deep water zone opened, boy, those first couple of trips out of Dana Wharf were pretty special, and some really cool deep water fishing. So we're looking forward to hearing a report and more of the same. And boy, I'm jealous of all the guys that jump on that special deep water trip for you this week.
Cool. Well, we'll keep you posted, and I'm waving at you with my good hand right now.
All right. Well, I'm hanging up on you with my bad one. So, Willie,
Roger.
Appreciate a great report as always, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Oh, that's a good one, Rick, for sure. And we've got the surf guru himself on hold here. We're going to go to Gundy Gunderson. Good morning, Gundy.
What up, Gundy?
Hey, what's going on, you guys?
We're doing great, buddy. Good morning.
Yeah, that water temp really dumpoed. Not the reports we want to hear, especially at this time of year. Normally October, you get the little Indian summer, maybe some Santa Anas, but we're not seeing any signs of that. But, things can change. I would say we're not done yet by any stretch. We lost 4 to 6 degrees, even up to 10 degrees on a couple of beaches off San Diego. That's a big old slam. But, I think it was just kind of a rollover deal, and I think we'll get back up to, probably the mid, I think 66 degrees was the warmest water temp I could find this morning, so that's pretty significant. But, let's look at the positive side of things. I think, we're going to see some anchovies, sardines move into the shallows, and it might set up, for a pretty good fall, halibut-wise, maybe some striped bass in there and stuff. So we're always optimistic on this thing. Maybe some more bonita. The bonita didn't show that well this week, but if that anchovy comes back, they will be there guaranteed. So hook, line, sinker reported fair fishing, mostly short halibut in the surf. Good numbers of smaller barred perch, especially out west. I think 8-9 inches was probably the better fish. Mixed water conditions. There was actually some of the water temps in Santa Barbara were warmer than some of the water temps off San Diego. So that's how kind of screwy we are. Big Fish reported slow beach bite. The best bet, and this was up and down the coast, was the bay fishing, lagoon fishing, good numbers of spotted bay bass. Alamitos Bay, Huntington Harbor was very good. I talked to some guys who fished live smelt in Alamitos Bay, and they had something like 40 bass and 5 or 6 halibuts. So that's something to look at. A little more stable water temperature in those bays and stuff. And then Pacific Coast reported much the same. Some catches in Carlsbad Lagoon. The beach was, they had some 62-degree water on some of the beaches there, so really chill. They seen the Corbina even in the cool water. So like I said, I think it's just a function of the weather. You know, if we get some offshore set up, you know, I think we'll get back into it. But kind of a funky deal, and that's how it's been all year. You know, we just no consistency, and you know, that's what it's doling out this year. We got to take it.
I'm with you, and you know what? I think a lot is the same. I think it's more of a rollover than a season changer. At least right now, it's still September, and boy, October traditionally has been some of the best surf fishing that we have, and you know, we usually like ride the transition down, not flip the switch, but. Like you say, Gundy, we're just going to see what the conditions give us. And the best thing about the surf is there's always things to fish. I mean, even in the dead of winter, you just change your tactics and change your baits and change how you're fishing, and plenty of fishing still ahead of us.
That's right. Like you said, it's only September, so hang on to your hat.
I think so too. Gundy, a great report, buddy. As always, appreciate you getting so complete up and down the beach.
See you next week.
You got it, bro. We'll talk to you then. Thanks, Gundy.
All right, and that's brought to us by surffishtackle.com. For all your surf fishing needs, check it out. It's surffishtackle.com. And for the newest surf fishing gear, Fish the Surf. It'll help make you a better angler on the beach. And I think when we come back, we have something to talk about with the combination and collaboration with Bill Varney, right?
Yeah, I like it.
And we're going to be right back on the Let's Talk Hookup app, the Mightier 1090, and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
24 years ago, I visited this amazing place called Hawaii Archipelago. I just could not get enough of these amazing islands, natural beauty, friendly people, and phenomenal fishing. I knew I had to spend more time there. Moving forward to today, here I am, a fishing lodge owner. Hi, this is Valerie Hilbrich from Queen Charlotte Safaris in beautiful Hawaii Islands, British Columbia, Canada. We are a boutique lodge just steps from the Sanskrit Harbor, offering a truly unique fishing adventure. Our fishing is world class. You will fish for king salmon, halibut, lingcod, and much more. Our fishing grounds are untouched, unspoiled, and surrounded by stunning scenery. We are dedicated to making your adventure an experience that will be a lifetime of memories. We will welcome you as friends, and you will leave as part of the Queen Charlotte Safaris family. You will come for the fishing, and you'll come back for the memories. We are booking now. Please give me a call at 1-877-815-2892, or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or website qcsafaris.com.
Hello, this is Captain Mike Totter from Searcher Sport Fishing. Alongside my colleague, Chef Josh Evans, and our dedicated team, we invite you to join us aboard the Searcher. Our fishing trips range from 1.5 to 8 days, available May through November, and include charter options. We're committed to upholding a legacy of top-notch customer service, delicious food, and a friendly and talented crew. Book your fishing adventure online at searchersportfishing.com or call Rachel at 619-226-2403. That's searchersportfishing.com. We look forward to welcoming you aboard.
Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters. 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
Saturday, November 2nd, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego, and it's our largest sale ever. Plenty of seminars by saltwater experts and over 20 reps from tackle manufacturers like Fishworks, Owner, Phoenix, West Coast Jiggers, and Shimano. Don't miss all the great seminars, the huge raffle to benefit Rollo kids, the popular casting contest, and of course, the huge sale. For the best ever tackle bargains, check out Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 2nd.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at royalstarsportfishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best, Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Cory Sanden.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup coming your way right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, the Sports Grid Radio Network, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, all the things we're streaming and coming to you for, and obviously all those great archives that are available through the Let's Talk Hookup app that Adam does such a great job. And I know Cory just sent a nice picture smiling face of Dave and Tiffany, and those will be up with our archive shows shortly. Adam does such a great job getting those archive shows up so quick. And it's a really fun part of Let's Talk Hookup too. If you haven't already, man, if you missed yesterday's show with Captain Tim Ekstrom, you can go back to the archives and you can listen at your leisure, or you got a rad little rod building tidbit that Tiffany talked about that you didn't quite, maybe I need to go back and revisit that on your drive home from work. You can listen to a couple hours of Let's Talk Hookup and kill some good time. So all of that's all available on that Let's Talk Hookup app. And the only way that you can text in the show, Cory,
is through the app, right?
Yeah.
And hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Exactly. Super easy. And you do, when you text the show, want to make sure you leave your name and telephone number. Or if you give us a call, 213-432-1090, because we're giving away $300 to Costa Del Mar, man. Like, are you kidding? I mean,
rad.
dude, I'd love a pair of glasses right now, right? Who wouldn't? And it could be all yours right now if you give us a call, 213-432-1090, or text us via the app.
So when we went into the break, you teased us a little bit, Cory, talking about fishthesurf.com and
Bill Varney.
Bill Varney and Surf Fishing. And Tiffany, you said you and Bill have kind of collaborated. Bill, we've talked about on the show before, has an amazing series of custom rods that were made for surf fishing, and you're a big part of that.
Yeah, me and Bill worked together a couple of years ago, a few years ago, actually. Now I keep forgetting, time slides by, of coming up with the perfect surf fishing rod where you've got the sensitivity. It's very light, and the strength for halibut, corbina, pretty much anything in the surf.
But yet still functional for a half-pound surf perch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so.
Right. Which is such a unique thing about surf fishing is you might go through a half a dozen surf perch in a row and then hook a big spot fin or a halibut or something, and you need a rod that does both.
Exactly. And they come in 3 different lengths because everybody's different. They come in 8'6", 9'6". I like the 9 or the 8'6", and other people prefer the 9 or the 9'6" because everybody's different.
Sure.
It's got the microwave or the micro guides on there that has really put the casting part over the top. I can have the same blank with regular spinning guides and the same blank with the microwave guides, cast the same way. But with the micro guides, I will cast twice as far.
No kidding. Really?
People don't even know what you're talking about. I guarantee you, because I've seen it and it is incredible. I didn't realize that Bill's rods had The microwave guides.
Bill and I went into extensive testings, different, functions, different scenarios to come up with the perfect surf rod. I can't say I did it. Bill did it. He had the idea and said, this is what I need. This is what I want. And so we went and sat down what we call blueprint and then made different scenarios of everything. And then he'd test them out. And then he said, okay, I like this, this, this. I don't like this, this, this.
I love this.
Redesign it all, come up with a blank, come up with everything that sets, for what he wants.
But the microwave guide, getting back to that one, it's revolutionary. It's Darrenheim with American Tackle. Am I right?
Yep.
Is the, part of that designing there. And it's not the first guide from the reel isn't that large inset. It's got it tapers down to feed it to the other guides. And it's so much cleaner coming off the reel. The distance is like 20%. I'm guessing, I don't know numbers, but it's so effortless and it gives you 20% like extra distance with ease. Am I right?
It's a fascinating design.
It is.
And I have a theory about why it works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody knows why it works. A theory is the best we got. Here's mine. You've got the guide itself, and it's the first guide along the rod, and it's not as big as normally a spinning guide would be. But just inside and forward of that, quarter, half an inch, is a very small guide attached to the larger guide. And in a spinning reel, the line comes off coiled, of course. And typically we have a large first guide to accommodate that coil. This is smaller, but that tiny guide, the microwave guide in front of that, I think takes where the line comes back down together, the coil in front of the guide, and it creates a Venturi effect. And I think that's what just sucks the line and creates a longer cast. I think it is actually creates a vacuum and a Venturi effect that just sucks that line through the guide.
It's revolutionary. And do you sell them on your, you're going to have them.
We're going to have them. I have a funny story on these guides. I had a friend come up to me, Brett, and if he's listening, hi, Brett. Yes, I'm going to tell you about the story you gave me. He comes to me with this old rod and says, I want you to refurbish this, but I want to be able to cast further. I'm like, okay, I got the right idea for you, but you may not like the way it looks, but it's going to do what you want. And so I refurbished his rod, put the micro guides on there, handed it to him. A couple of hours later, he goes, I have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He goes, the tree was in the way. I said, what do you mean the tree's in the way? And he goes, this thing casts like no other. I've never seen anything cast like this. And the fourth cast, I did it like I was acting. He was in his yard. Like I was acting like I was casting from my boat to the broiler rocks. And it's in the tree.
That's awesome.
Wow.
How
Crazy.
Cool. And that's just from changing the guide train.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Crazy.
That's really cool.
So
and those guides will be available again on vagrods.net when you get the site up.
Yep. As soon as the site's finished and all the little things are corrected, then yes, it'll be on vagrods.net.
And what's the proper terminology? Is it microwave guides?
It depends because they have different styles of the micro guides. They've got low profile ones, bait casting ones, spinning ones. So each of them's like microwave, micro guide, depending on what the function is. If you need them, they can always get on my Facebook page, vagrods.net, or Instagram, vagrods, and message me what they mean. And I can contact them and get it because we don't know if it's going to be a couple of days before the website's up or a week or two. But if they need something, just shoot me a message on one of the platforms and I'll get back to them.
Because there are things that happen. I'm sorry to overstep, but there are things that happen in the industry. And sometimes, it's questionable. And it's like, these really do make a difference. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was just going to follow what David said earlier, how important it is to just follow you guys on social media, because that's when we're going to, we will, of course, mention on Let's Talk Hookup. If you guys, just keep us up to date when the website does go live. Of course, we'll put the word out again. But the easiest thing would be to follow you guys on all your social media platforms, because obviously you're going to spread the word. And then as you're scrolling through Instagram and you see Tiffany's Rod page pop up, oh, hey, the website's live, then we can go check it out and, buy them straight from there. That's cool. Well, hey, pardon me. Another great text came through. This one is for Tiffany. This one was for Tiffany. I'm looking for an 8-foot rod for my Shimano Tranx 500. I'd be something a little more multi-purpose. I like to cast jigs. I do bottom fishing, and I fish live baits. Most of the rods that I have seen have had a faster tip. I'm looking for a lower to slower medium tip. Do you have any suggestions for me? It's Jim from Morro Bay.
Hi, Jim. I would highly recommend bacon sticks.
Okay.
There it is.
And is there a model there within, or is the bacon stick a single model? Like, what would be the right?
The bacon stick can be built off of any blank that there is. So the conversation between the two of them would get down to what blank is best for it, and then it can be built on that blank.
Got it. Okay. There you go. Appreciate it very much. Cory, why don't we jump into the phones?
Let's do it. How about Mike? Mike calling from Rosemead. Good morning, Mike. Appreciate you joining us.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, good morning. I have a question for you, Tiffany, but I had a thought. I got my favorite scrambled egg surface iron and yo-yo jigs. Are they compatible with any of your bacon sticks?
Bacon and scrambled egg. I like your style.
That, my friend, is our briar patch. That is where they started. I mean, the first bacon sticks I had her built is exactly for that type of thing. So
that's funny.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Oh, good one.
Ask for the bacon sticks iron.
There it is.
And did you say you had a follow-up question, Mike? Well, it looks like we might have lost him there. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I have some. Okay, yeah, I have some old Garcia Conalon surf rods. They're probably about 40, 50 years old. Can you restore them to their original look with like all the original decals and stuff like that? Do you still do that or not really?
We can do it to the best it can be. I don't know what condition your rod is. It could be something that it has splinters in it or something that, you know what I mean? So pretty much we would be able to do it close to it, but it just depends on the condition of it.
I've seen her bring back some old rods to just a luster and a beauty that was just like original. You mentioned decals. Old decals from different companies can be hard to come by, so probably not the decals, but the rod itself, that can be done.
Earlier, you had talked about rods that end up at the boneyard, rod that you fished with a bunch and the guide went away, or whatever the scenario was, or it was just generally beat into the ground, as Dave clearly likes to do. Older rods where the rod finish has started to go away and you can start to see those white fibers up at the tips of the rods. Like, is that detriment to the rod? Like, does that need to be refurbished? Can it be refurbished? Is it just a looks thing, or do we need to take a step before that rod starts to be compromised?
Need to take a couple of quite a few steps if what you're saying is what I'm imagining. Yeah, we'd have to do, it's dry, so we're gonna have to undry it, as some people would say, or moisten it. Then you have to refurbish it and take a lot of steps. It can be done. If you look, I have actually a video of something that I did that was like that. I have it on my vaguerods.net Facebook page, Instagram page. It says refurbishing this old rod. And a lot of what you are describing is what that rod was like. And it's quick because you're only allowed a minute and a half, on Instagram.
Sure.
So, but it shows you the process from beginning to end and what I did and what it looked like at the end.
That's cool. But it's not, that rod doesn't have to be retired.
No, you don't have to retire it. You can bring it back, and you can do other things to it to make the color come back. just like the one that's if they want to go and look at the video of it, they'll see it from dilapidated, old, disgusting until what it looked like
That's
originally.
It really comes down to the blank itself. If you see those fibers, that can be dealt with, but are those fibers compromised?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, are they frayed? Are they broken? If so, that can't be fixed. You need a new blank.
Yeah. Okay.
But if the blank itself is has its integrity yet, then anything can be done with it.
I like it.
Pretty much to answer his question, 99% of the time it can be refurbished.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
I like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same. Oh, I had another great text come through. It says, "Good morning, guys. Dave Bacon, I know you from fighting for our fishing access, and my question is, what type of tackle, rods, reels, slow pitch, plastics, etc., in your neck of the woods? I'm coming up soon to do some fishing for some bottom grabbers, and I'm also really hoping to check off a white sea bass or a halibut on my list." That's from Jeff in Huntington Beach.
Ahoy, Jeff. Okay, you know those 3 tackle boxes you got? Bring them.
All of them.
All 3?
You know those 5 rods you got? Bring them. And that's because you may end up doing a lot of different types of fishing. If you're going down deep for one of my favorite fish, a raging lingusaur, then you're going to need something with some backbone to it, and you're going to use that backbone and ask a lot of that backbone. On the other hand, if you're searching for the white sea bass and you're soaking some baits, maybe you're just outside a kelp bed or something, you may be wanting to pitch a swim bait up into that kelp looking for some calico bass, and you're going to need that long, slender rod that'll pitch that swim bait a good long distance. So the main thing is bring some variety with you. And bring swim baits and bring jigs. And jigs, I'm talking heavy, like 16 ounces even, because you're gonna need to get down there some, because that's where those biggest lingusaur live.
That sounds like a good time right there. You have such a beautiful coastline up there. I mean, I've had a few times taken the skiff up there and actually fished all the way up to Gaviota Zone, and or what do they call the surf spot up there? Right above Gaviota to the west.
Well, there's a whole series of surf spots up there, but it's all Hollister Ranch.
Hollister Ranch, there it is. Yeah, all the way up to there.
And
It's just
a
so
really
beautiful.
great trip can be launch a skiff or kayak or whatever at Gaviota, and then fish it all the way down to Goleta.
Right. I mean, it's some beautiful bass fishing and shallow water rock fishing too.
Oh, shallow water rock fishing, some fabulous halibut areas in there. And then watch for a lot of life in the water, just predators, sea lions, birds, all of those, because you may have a squid spawn going there. And if you do, you may find yourself all by your lonesome in the middle of a wide open white sea bass when they are just biting stupid.
Have you seen that this year? I mean, the squid on the coast up there?
Yeah, squid on the coast kind of comes and goes, and
Yeah.
it doesn't always get spotted. It's individuals that find it, and then friends know about that. But for days, it's like there's nobody there, and it's all yours.
That
I love it.
sounds dreamy, doesn't it? Hello.
no doubt about it.
Yeah. Hey, we've got the angler himself, the realtor himself, Youssef Husseini, on hold for the fishdope.com report. And it's brought to us by Fishman's Processing in San Diego, where you get your premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing for your long-range trips. And with more team members, Fishman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity and the finest customer service. Stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street, or you can check them out at fishmansprocessing.com. And Rick, if you missed it yesterday, they have brown and gold Padre colored Fisherman's Processing shirts.
That's cool.
So you got to
Padre vibe.
step on in and get them up.
I
man.
like it after clinching home field, man.
I like it
a lot. All right. Well, hey, let's talk to the man. Yusuf's on the line. Good morning, Yusuf.
Good morning, Yusuf.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing today?
We're doing really good, buddy.
Good.
Anxious to hear. I know a lot of things going on. Some good tuna fishing, and give us the dope, man. Our fishdope.com report.
You got it. Well, tuna fishing It's good. It's on and off. It's definitely, we're losing what we had. That's for sure. I'm going to start off today up on the islands. Clementi's pretty much dried up now. That squid is gone. Sea bass and yellows are pretty much gone. Catalina is still biting. The front side still has all 3 Bs, the bass, bonita, and barracuda. Still biting good. Not as good as it was. As we go into fall fishing here, it's kind of normal. Santa Cruz, there's still a little bit on the north side of halibut and sea bass. It's not wide open, but those fish are around still. Tanner Bank is still biting a little bit, or was biting a little bit, and has slowly fizzled out to nothing. The squid have bugged out. There's no fin bait hanging on there, so that's pretty much dried up. There's a little bit of big fish signal up in the same area, northwest San Clemente, like there has been. Fish are a little bit smaller. Some of these big fish guys are still getting them and doing pretty well on the smaller grade. Down to the islands. Islands last week were really good. We had some really good bluefin fishing for a couple days. I mean, I heard from friends that they were getting solid limits on 40 to 60 pounders. The sea lions were relentless, but if you can get away from them, you're going to boat one. That's pretty much dried up. The yellowtail are still there. But we're going into fall, guys. We had a bunch of yellowfin down on the ridge, down below, and we thought those might make their way up here to where we could get a scratch at them, but that's not going to happen. That warm water pocket closed up. And that's it for our year as far as those yellowfin coming up go.
Well, you're quite the optimist there, Yusuf. Boy, lots of drying up, but certainly some good still fishing opportunities to be had. And like you said, it definitely hasn't been the midsummer every boat, but boy, you look at some of those sport boat counts and still some very good hits to be had, and some nighttime stops. And you're right, not every boat every time, but still certainly some good fishing up and down the beach.
We've been spoiled the past few years. It's got to come around.
Yeah, no
that's
doubt
true
about
too.
It. Well, if somebody wants to keep in touch with fishdope.com, they can save $30 off of a new membership to fishdope.com by using the code Hookup Now. It's all lowercase, no space. Hookup Now saves you $30. And if somebody wants the best handle on the real estate game, which isn't completely dried up, how do we stay in touch with you, and what's the latest with our Anglers Realtor?
You can get me at 619-277-2169. You can also get me at Cal Realty on most social media platforms, as well as on my website, sportsmansrealty.com. Interest rates are coming down, and this market's going to start rolling. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, let's do it. Give me a call.
I love it. Great job, buddy. Appreciate a report as always, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Yusuf. Appreciate that very much.
And it's brought to us by Norsk Lithium Batteries. They're here in Southern California, and they're designed specifically for marine use. Norsk Lithium features prismatic cells for extreme durability, solid connections, longevity, and reliability. The Norsk Guardian Advanced Battery Management System allows you to monitor the health and charging status by using an app on your phone. And Norsk also makes a complete line of kayak and electric reel batteries. Make an investment in the best for your boat with Norsk Lithium. Check norsklithium.com, or you can go see the Trolling Motor Doctor or Anglers Marine, both in Anaheim and in Lakeside, and check Norsk Lithium. How about that? It's kind of cool.
Rad, yeah.
He was talking about the water temperatures dropping and everything, and I wonder, because this seems super early, Rick, for late September, for the water temps to have fallen without them rebounding somewhat, right?
That's how I feel.
Don't you agree?
I do. I really do. Like I said, I mean,
late October, I would say, okay, maybe it is on the downward.
I'm a forever optimist, I guess, but
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I think that this is more a dip than
a fall.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Yeah, totally. And like I said, there was some good scores this week. I mean, there
Absolutely.
really was. Like, there was some very good fishing on the Tanner, and there was definitely some trips that swung and missed. And in the heat of things, there was more hitting than there was missing, but yeah, there was still some plenty good scores.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do. I think we got plenty good fishing still in front of us. I had a really fun text that I wanted to read, and it says, "I really love the direction of the show today. I started building rods on my own as a hobby many years ago and started from stripping down an old Fenwick factory rod as a young boy and rewrapping it to my own style. Awesome. These options are endless. My question is for Tiffany. Can you speak, which we've already commented a little bit on this part, can you speak between the benefits of fiberglass and composites, which we've covered some, and the benefits of both? Also, can you cork tape reel seat, can a cork tape reel seat be converted to a reel seat without stripping all the guides off? Meaning he's got a cork tape reel seat now and he wants to switch to some sort of a cord or a hypalon and a reel seat. Can that be retrofitted after the fact? That's all from Dan and Pomona.
Hello, Dan. Let me see if I got this question straight. You have a cork tape right now. Is it deckhand style with the reel seat, or is it just deckhand style?
So deckhand, no reel seat.
No reel seat. Okay. And you want to transfer it to
You want to have a reel seat on it.
a reel seat with the cork, or are you wanting to switch?
His text was just he wants to convert to a rod that has a reel seat. So maybe he's got a Tranks or he wants to fish a reel that doesn't have a good clamp system, but he's got all cork tape or all deckhand style grip now and wants to be able to fix a reel seat.
The proper way to do that is, you're going to want to cut off the cork tape down to where the edge of the reel seat would be. You may not have to take all of the guides off, but you always want to build, when you're putting components on, going from the top down, because the rod's tapered down. You don't want to put a reel seat that's huge, having to go from the butt end up. You want it to fit very, very snug. So you can take your reel seat and slide it down to where it stops at one of the guides and just take those guides off. You don't have to strip down the whole, unless it needs to be, but you don't have to strip the whole thing down.
And I would guess, too, a lot of it depends on the diameter of blank that he's hoping to do that to.
Yeah.
An old CalStar, 90J, the butt section is going to be so big, you're not going to put a reel seat from the back going forward. But if he's got a skinny little Batson blank that, the reel seat's going to slide from the butt going forward regardless, then maybe he still is big. So a bit probably going to depend on what he has to start with from the get-go.
Exactly.
Okay. And you were mentioning that you might leave the cork tape into position, at least to the top half, so that you're only having to redo the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Unless it needs to be done. I mean,
Sure.
I'm one of those that are like, okay, this part here, we need to do the whole thing. But a lot of times, it's the cork tape itself is fine. You don't need to redo the whole thing, just right up to where just cut it off right to where it's going to be.
And a customer utilizing you, I mean, they could make that decision and you can work with it the way they want it.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them, oh yeah, you need to strip down everything. You need new guides. You need this, you need that. That's going to be $400, whatever amount of money. No, this is what needs to be done. We can save this part. And a lot of times with like the cork tape, just bits and pieces might be a little worn, but not enough to where you have to completely strip it. Worst scenario case, let's just put X-Wrap over it.
There you go.
Or something.
You've got a lifetime of rebuilding dad's rods that have been beat to death and bring them back. So you have an interesting bag of tools and tricks on fixing rods that have been beat down like that.
Don't get me started with what he does to his rods.
We each have our function here, and wearing them out is my function. I excel at it.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey, we're going to be right back. More with David Bacon and Tiffany Vague when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app and that Sports Grid Radio Network.
The fish are biting and it's time to go. Hi, this is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, or maybe in front of the shop on my kayak. It doesn't matter if you are out there on a kayak with me, on your boat, headed out on a sport boat. Dana Landing has everything you need. We call it the one-stop shop for a great day on the water because it truly is. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. Our tackle shop, headed by John, is certainly one of the best. For freshwater tackle, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. These guys have the best rods and reels and the hottest lures and live bait. Our newest shop is Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle with a great stock of both fresh and saltwater tackle right in the heart of Lemon Grove. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, 94 to Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. Check out danalanding.com for more details.
Rock Cod Rick here to tell you about Parker Boats and the guys at West Coast Marine. By now, you all know my boat partner and I bought a new 25 Parker center console from Screw at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. We've known for a long time that a Parker was the boat for us. It's a stout workhorse of a boat built to last and get you home when the seas get rough. Parker Boats at the lawn tramp, the offshore tuna grounds. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip and there they are. Parker Boats of all sizes, fishing in the same areas as the sporties. There's a good reason for it: fishability and seaworthiness. West Coast Marine has several new Parkers in stock and ready for delivery, and they have more on the way. Don't get caught without a reliable boat when fishing is this good. Take it from me, if you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see West Coast Marine. Check out the inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
Get ready for the largest event in our history. Saturday, November 2nd, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. We'll have great savings from Daiwa on Saltus, Saltiga, and the entire electric reel lineup. A fantastic offer on the Proteus rod and SK jigs, too. Over 20 manufacturers reps, including Daiwa. Plenty of seminars, saltwater experts, huge raffle, and most of all, incredible deals on tackle. Up to 60% off. Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing, Saturday, November 2nd.
Don't be the last one to get one, especially now. The new Brutus Pacific Pro from Ace Line Hauler. You can catch more lobster and pull deeper with the Ace Line Hauler, so you can get those bugs in the boat. Easy to store and low-powered draw. The Ace Line Hauler is the highest quality and certainly the best on the market. Just ask a friend that has one. Get the new Brutus Pacific Pro by Ace Line Hauler today. Buy now at better fishing stores near you.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and having so much fun, Rick, and talking good times. And if you want to join us, still time to do it. One open line at 213-432-1090, or you can text us via the app, and make sure you leave your name and telephone number. We're giving away a $300 Costa gift certificate at the end of the show.
So rad. This has been a lot of fun. And again, you know, Dave and Tiffany, I know you guys had to come down from Santa Barbara, and we really appreciate it. But I think the website's going to go great. We've talked about it plenty, but I think we should mention it one more time. You guys have put a tremendous amount of work into this website, and there's a lot of things. It's not live yet, but we're talking any day. And again, that's vaguerods.net.
I have watched Tiffany work roughly 14 hours a day for, I'd say, about 5 months now, and loading up the thousands of products we have on there and working on her relations, which she has deep relations in this industry. And the most exciting part to us is being able to offer quality products, but at rock bottom prices, below MSRP.
What's cool is this website is going to apply to so many different people, whether you're a hardcore rod builder and you're looking to get a great deal on components, whether you're looking to buy a completed custom rod, whether you're looking for information about how to build your own and then have access to the components. I mean, you really built this kind of for everybody that wants to be involved with fishing, or just like you even said, there's going to be, you know, rods that meet your guys' approval. They'll be factory made rods that are available that you can just purchase straight up from the website, but they're rods that you guys like and you put your faith behind.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, it's exciting. And again, if somebody wants to keep up with your social media, that's going to give us the info where, you know, when and where the website becomes live, what's the best way to follow you?
Well, Instagram's Vague Rods, and our Facebook page is vaguerods.net. And if they have any questions or, want to sign up on a class or anything, hit me up on one of those websites. I always answer the questions and the how-tos.
Yeah, you made a very dangerous request, and that was any text message that we weren't able to read on the show.
Which is a lot, Rick.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
That Tiffany, you said you were happy to answer all those questions, and they could reach you via direct message on your Instagram or whatever it may be. I'm warning you that there's about 75 that we haven't got to yet. We still have another half-hour show, so
I sleep
hope
between
you got plenty
10
of
and
time.
6.
Okay. Well, we've got a busy morning on the phones, a lot of fun. We got our buddy Scott Sherman standing by on the line right now. What's up, Scott?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, good morning. Love the show. I had a question for your guest here. I'm an old school guy, and I still fish my old Baja Saber I got when I was 13 years old.
All right.
I have
Absolutely
one.
love that rod.
I love it.
Do you? Yeah, they're great rods. They really are. I mean, that thing's got a tip. You can feel an anchovy wiggle, but you can put a 30-pound fish on the deck pretty easy. I found another one at a garage sale the other day that needs to be redone, but it's configured for a spinning rod.
Mm-hmm.
Does the blank make a difference between spinning and conventional, or can a spinning rod be redone and have new guides and that and set it up for conventional?
What a great question.
Yeah, really good question.
A blank can be used for both spinning, conventional, whatever you want it. It's all about where the spine is. That would, when you're building a rod, I mean, you can have any blank and make it into a spinning or a conventional.
What's a spine, Tiffany?
The spine is your backbone, but on the rod, or on the blank, it's pretty much like your backbone.
And there's a particular, even though the blank is round, there's basically a line at which that spine is, and then your guides would be on one side or the other of that spine if you were doing conventional or spinning.
Exactly.
Okay. So even though he might have spinning rod, this rod might have spinning guides on it now, and they're on one side of the spine, you could get a hold of that, cut all those guides off, put the guides on the 180-degree side of that spine, and now it's set up for fishing conventional.
Exactly.
Got it.
Or Sherm could join one of your classes.
Yes.
And learn how to do it.
I would
right?
love to have you on one of my classes.
I'm going to
I've
add
got too much stuff in my garage already to set it up for.
you've got a boneyard. Yeah.
Boneyard.
Yeah, we all do. I'm going to add one comment about that backbone or spine or spline. And that is we know how to find it. But we tend to view it as a straight line down the rod, and it is not. If you could take each foot of that rod, you would and find out where the spline is on that foot, you would see that from one end to the other of the rod, that spline meanders a bit. And that's because of the shape of the pieces of material that go into wrapping around the mandrel when they build the blank. And so what we're really weighing or finding is the average of the spline all the way up and down the rod.
Very interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I always viewed it as like the straight line, and I'm not a rod builder, of course. It's my hammer and nail and get the job done, right? But
if you didn't pay any attention to that, Tiffany, you wrapped the guides in a straight line, but it wasn't on or off the spine, would you feel it in the fishing rod? Like would you know that rod wasn't performing the way that it should be?
Yeah, it kind of wants to shift to a side when you're reeling in a fish or something. Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And that's how you find the spine or the spline, right? I mean, you actually roll the rod, and where it wants to settle is. And again, I'm not a rod builder, but I mean, I've seen that done, right?
You got it.
You should take my class because you seem to know a lot.
Not really.
If you haven't found the spline and put the guides on properly and the reel seat, then you will find yourself constantly all day long compensating for that. And your arms and your wrists and your hands are going to wear out sooner. It's a really important functional part.
There again, we in the beginning of the show, we talked about the difference between a custom rod and a factory rod, and that not all factory rods are built the same. There's plenty of high-end factory rod manufacturers that those rods are built on spline and they're built just right, and they're built the same way Tiffany would done, but they're just all built the same. But then there's other ones that are not that way, that don't have the guides on the spline and don't have the, whatever it might be. And again, not all things are equal.
Nope.
That sounds like a nightmare to me, Rick.
Yeah, you're not lying. Why don't we jump into the phones, Cory?
Let's do it. How about Barry? Barry calling from Ventura. Good morning, Barry.
What's up, Barry?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm curious about fly fishing rods. Do you guys make custom fly fishing rods? And if you do you make a 2-piece or even a 3-piece for traveling?
Yes, we do. We do 2-piece, 4-piece.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah, whatever it might be. We typically, a lot of people for traveling have us do 4-piece.
And you have a range of weights of 4-piece rods.
Yeah, 2-weight, 4-weight, 6-weight, 8-weight, et cetera, et cetera.
That's awesome.
And fly fishing folks frequently have a dickens of a time finding what they need anywhere, online or brick and mortar. And Tiffany has done a lot of work to make sure that we've got a lot of fly fishing gear, blanks,
awesome.
components, all of that on the website. So we're going to be a real good resource.
I'll tell you the other thing is fly fishing rods are just inherently expensive. They just are. And I know that that's a big thing that you guys are wanting to do with this website is offer very, affordable pricing for people that want to go fishing. And that's a segment of business where it is not uncommon to see, 4-digit price tags on rods. And, your goal was to build gear that, that not only function fantastic, and obviously your design is second to none, but also have, make it easier on somebody's pocketbook.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got into going this route with it, because I know a lot of people that can't afford having high-end stuff. So we came up with a way so that somebody who couldn't afford it could actually build it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or have me build it, either way, but they'll be able to have something that will last forever and, something that's theirs at a high end, but without having to spend their next month's rent.
Yeah, totally.
That's important to consider because much of the cost of a custom rod is in the labor. I mean, there's hours,
Sure.
There's a lot of hours that goes into this. And when you start getting into higher end things like weaves or really good grips like the Tiffany grip that is a woven grip, there's untold hours in that.
Yeah.
So if someone learns to build a rod, they will end up having a custom rod at just the cost of the blank and the components. And it's their own time. They're doing it for themselves. So it's a thing of beauty there that they end up getting at a very realistic, good price.
We build a lot of custom rods through the tackle store, and even, and the price tags can get up there because custom labor, like you said, the hours of labor that go into it still don't come close to compensating. I mean, I don't know what Tiffany charges, but I already know it's not enough. And I mean that because it's a labor of love. Like if you added up all of the hours that you have into doing a weave and then put the price tag down, you realize that you're paying yourself less than minimum wage on an unbelievable artistic thing that you're going to have forever. And, you're teaching people the skills to get to do that on their own. I think it's awesome. I love what you guys are doing. I'm really excited about it. I'm pumped on the website coming forward. Well, hey, I wanted to read another fun text, and it was from Bill, and he's from Mission Viejo. It says, my son is graduating from college this year, and I'd really like to get him a custom rod for catching 100+ pound tuna. Can you give me some direction and some recommendations on where to go for a custom rod?
Bacon sticks.
All right.
There it is.
Get the Power Horse.
Okay.
And Power Horse. I mean, what is describe it? I mean,
Yeah,
are we describing David
workhorse.
Bacon?
If you need to lift it, it'll do it.
It'll
Yeah,
do it. Okay.
And you're going to have to take that fish he's talking about and you're going to have to lift it from very deep. And he's going to need some power. Now, he just graduated from college. He's a young lad
Yeah.
with good power, so he can take a bacon sticks, power stick, and he can do that. And so that's a good choice for him.
And add a workhorse to it.
There it is.
And you can build that. It doesn't have to be a plain Jane like day. Like you can build that in whatever. You could build it in his college colors, or
Yes.
you could put
Yes.
whatever direction you wanted to go. That's what's so cool about what Tiffany does is you're an expert at both form and function.
Or if he wants to go the extravagant route, he can send me a picture of his college logo, and I can weave that logo into the rod.
Come on.
Yep.
How cool is that?
I did that for anglerettes.
That's so cool.
Wow.
So whatever, you could weave an SDSU logo, you could weave a UCLA, whatever. You have the ability of doing all that. What a cool gift that would be too, to celebrate.
Padre brown and gold.
I
baby.
love it, man. That's rad. Well, that's very cool, Bill, and I hope congratulations to your son there too. I hope you guys get a cool stick. Why don't we jump back into the phones, Cory?
Let's do it, Rick. How about Tom? Tom calling from University City. Good morning, Tom.
What up, Tom?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy. Good morning.
Hey, I have an older. I have a couple secret Americans that have those chrome guides. And early on when I started fishing, I had gotten some rods where those guides actually like corroded my line and broke the line. So I was wondering, how do you tell when somebody brings in an older rod and they have those chrome guides? How do you guys tell if you need to replace them or if they're fine in terms of like the corrosion and whether that's going to impact the line?
Well, if you look at the connections between the ring and the guide itself, you'll see either green or brown. Or if you'll see I don't know which brand of guides you have on, but some brands will have almost like a bubbly look almost that's starting to form. That's when you know the rings are going to start popping.
That doesn't sound good.
No. It's funny to watch though when they're on the boat and all of a sudden you see a ring go dink.
Not good.
It only happens on big fish.
Right? Exactly.
I remember when I started working in the tackle store years ago that, you always wanted a ring guide because they were so much stronger, and the old insert style guides, everybody say, oh, the ceramics always pop out of those. And, and over the years of seeing rods come in for repair, it seems like that role has almost flipped, where I almost feel like we see more, solders from a ring guide fail than we do inserts coming out of the insert style guides. You see so much more of that. What's your opinion on the insert style guides versus the traditional ring guide?
They're formed. So the outer side is formed more to it, keeping it closed in, where the old school style, you could see things happening where it could start popping out. But the way they've started designing them now, they're formed.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would say like on almost like a 3-to-1 basis now, we see an older style ring guide fail before we see a good. And not all insert style guides are made the same. Some of them, like Tiffany saying, they're pressed in. Some are just held from epoxy. So there's different ways to go about it. But overall, there's probably more. I think that has almost surpassed. But again, every rod different for every feature too.
Yep.
When you're talking about, how do I want to say this? Trust and faith. Has a lot to do with what you're able to do out there on the water. And if you're fishing with a rod that you've looked at it and you've got any question at all about the integrity of those guides, replace them. And that's because when you do hook onto that big fish, again, when you bend that rod, you want absolute faith in it.
There it is. And there's nothing worse, man. I've had like those inserts crack and you don't realize it, but why are you breaking your line, right? It only happens when you're loading up on a fish.
Big time.
A huge tip that I could give that I've had to go through is a Q-tip. And that Q-tip rung through the guides, you'll quickly see the snag with the Q-tip cotton fibers grabbing it. And dude, I have found issues I didn't realize I ever had.
That's a great tip.
That was the other thing I was going to bring up is Q-tips or cotton balls. Because when you take the cotton ball out, it's formed.
Right.
But if you bring them through the guides,
it should come through cleanly.
It should come through. Well, not just that, but it shouldn't change shape.
Right.
Same with the Q-tips. The Q-tips a little bit easier for people to use.
Yeah.
Because they want to shove the cotton ball up and not let it do it. But if you use a Q and it changes shapes anywhere on it, or like one little thread coming up, there's a burr inside of there.
That's a great call.
Yeah.
Especially a guy like you, Cory, that likes to travel. It's not terribly expensive to pick, one 1 or 2 or 3 guide sizes and a couple of tips, and just have that little thing, have a little baggie with you. And then, spool of electrical tape and some rod tip glue will get you through a weekend. It's not going to fix you permanently, but it'll, if you travel to Cedros and your rod's going to go down, you could, you can get yourself through.
I'll give you one step better, and I've had to do it at El Salto, is small spectra. And you can actually wrap it up. I mean, just for an emergency,
Totally. Absolutely.
like we need to get through the next day, right? Kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, a little pocket full of guides and some tips will keep you going where it might not otherwise.
All right.
I've seen my dad do it with mono real quick. A customer brought their rod on.
Just wrap it on.
And he would wrap it on
Yeah.
real quick, and then the customer would fish the rest of the day, but got to go home and
There
get
it is.
fixed.
All right. Hey,
love
we're
it.
going to be right back on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Saturday, November
They're kinda
2nd,
strong
it's
enough.
Tackle
No, it's
Day
perfect.
at
Yeah.
Fisherman's
Perfect,
Landing in
perfect.
San
Thank you,
Diego,
JP.
and it's our largest sale ever. Plenty of
Absolutely,
seminars
bro.
by
Best of
saltwater
luck.
experts, over 20
Oh, yeah,
reps
after the
from
show.
tackle manufacturers like Shimano. Come check out the new Shimano Telica A.
Oh,
the
perfect.
pinnacle
Okay.
of
Man,
leg drag
that went
two-speed
fast. 2
reels.
hours. Isn't
Yeah.
that wild? Like, I always
Gaudy
joke,
body
man, 2 hours at work
prevent
takes like
misalignment
half
of
the day to
moving
go by,
parts
but 2
under
hours
the
here, like,
heaviest
it's
loads.
snap of a
With
finger.
Yeah.
jigs,
So we will give the prize to either a caller or a texter. And Tiffany, we're going to have you do us the honor of just flipping this little prize coin here. There's a T on one side for a texter and a C for the caller. But if you can just flip it up and just let it, when we come back, just let it hit the table for the little sound effect.
Oh, you're dangerous with me on that. I'm looking at things over there.
All good. All good.
And who's
Bring your coffee.
So caller, we have Tom in University City, and guys, I need a number between 1 and 6.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second
3
seminar. I
is
like
Jeff
catching big
in
fish,
Huntington
and I like
Beach.
smaller
So
reels
that's our
too. How do
potential
I
winner.
make sure that I have the capacity to look at a big one? I fill my
Well,
reels.
1 and 7 wouldn't have gone well
Max
between a 1 and
Quattro.
6. We need to take one more good one and you need to take one more texter.
So you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of
I
highly
like it.
effective lines, including the
Pete
brand
sent
new
me a
Power
text saying
Pro
what a
Depth
fantastic
Cutter
job you
offshore
guys did
with
too.
different
He's
colors
listening on
every
the
finger.
airplane. Yeah, he's
Perfect for
he was
flat
loaded up on the
Learn
airplane.
more,
He
check
he signed off about
Hey, San
8:15.
Diego,
But yeah, he just said
Ford
this
Summer
mentioned what a
Sales
great job
event
you guys
is
did.
on. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers now and
I
make
like
it
these.
your
So you might have
best
me
summer
back.
yet. Amazing offers.
Well, there's no might about
Great
it. We
selection
just got to
of
convince you to make the
Ford
drive
dealers,
down again.
Like the Built
That's a
Wild
problem.
Bronco family with a deal you
Yeah,
just
I do.
can't miss. Adventures are awaiting. Make it Ford. Make it yours.
I know, it's
right
perfect.
now.
That's all
Only at your
good.
San Diego County Ford dealers.
That was-
They'll be
You should have had him
proud
step in and
to
say,
I was trying, yeah.
Perception of what is
think
and
it's
is
I
possible.
was trying to
Cosmic
introduce
shifts where the stars align with the earth to alter
That's
how
what
we
it's
see
about.
the world.
Yeah,
The
totally.
release
Get 'em
of
on
King
here.
Tide
Yeah,
is
it's
one
rad.
of those moments. This is the crowning achievement of Costa's 40-year legacy on the
Yeah,
water.
we'll come back
The
and we'll
culmination
do
of
that.
every
We'll do
innovation
the
and
prize,
lessons
and
learned up
again,
until
give
this point.
the
Wins
guys
and
the
losses
lowdown
and
on where to
highs and
pick up the
lows
rods
have
and
brought
keep
us
an eye on
here
the
to stand
website.
witness
we
to a
ship
legacy
everything. We don't
brought
have
to
a
life,
a
to
shop
achieve the
anymore, so we
ultimate
ship
potential on the
Even better.
water. Costa
Yeah, we'll just
King
give everybody
Tide,
the info on how to
rule
find
the
you.
water.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and it's that time. Tiffany, go ahead and flip that coin. And we've
Okay.
got a caller today, and our caller is Tom in University City.
Hey, congratulations, Tom.
$300, man, coming your way for Costa Del Mar.
That's great. Well, congratulations there for sure. And man, what a fun time, you guys. It was a great show. I can't believe how fast this 2 hours go by. We were just talking about it, but very unique. I think the website is a great idea. You know, obviously your passion for custom rod building, both in the beautiful style, but also building heavy duty sticks that even dad can't break is awesome. One more time, give us the rundown. How do we find Vague Rods? When do we get excited to see the new website, the classes? Give us the whole rundown of everything.
Well, on Instagram, it's Vague Rods. On our Facebook page, it's vaguerods.net. TikTok is Vague Custom Rods, and then the YouTube is Vague Rods.
Okay. And with that, we're going to find all of the, you'll have all of the listings of when the website will go live, the classes, and you'll list when the classes start. And those are all done through Zoom. So it's full. You had talked about teaching at the college level, and you're basically taking that in your Zoom rod building classes as well.
For 6-week courses instead of 1 and 2 days. They'll go step by step all the whole way.
I love it. That's great. Well, cool. Well, great info, you guys. And again, vaguerods.net, because we use a net, Dave. I love that style. And if somebody wants to come fishing with you, Captain Dave, we still charter fishing. you're just having fun now, and it's all about the rod and the rod building business. Awesome, you guys. Well, a great job. And again, tons of components going to be available, and then tons more coming forward too. I know, Dave talked about you adding, thousands of parts and pieces to the website, but still more to come. I mean, that's going to be that's going to be a battle that doesn't slow anytime soon.
Nope. Every day I'm adding new stuff to the website.
I love it.
We need to get David in here again and talk about Calico Bass, man.
Yeah,
Iconic.
No doubt about it. Well, a great job, you guys. And again, thank you for making the ride down. We're very excited. Lots of custom rod building. And it's something that we just don't get to talk about a ton. And it's a tool that all of us use. And you guys shed a lot of light on it. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. Boy, next weekend, another couple of great shows coming for you. Next Saturday, we have Lyle and Elena Belquist coming. Fisheries biologist, another very cool take on the show. I haven't had Lyle and Elena on in quite some time. It'll be a lot of fun there. And then next Sunday, Valerie Hoprich from Queen Charlotte Safaris. Going to be a couple of great shows. We appreciate you listening. A huge thanks to JP. A huge thanks to Adam for keeping us on. And boy, we really appreciate you listening. We'll look forward to talking to you next weekend. It's Let's Talk Hookup Saturday and Sunday. And we're on the 1090. We're on the live stream, Facebook, and more. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup on the on 1090 and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hey, great stuff today, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, talk next week.